If it's pointed at you, they're a bad guy. If it's not pointed at you, don't worry about it.
Step carefully. Be careful, careful. Come here, come here.
It's just not worth it just to go catch someone.
This is where an innocent police officer got shot for no reason.
Wait, show me your hands.
It's a routine traffic stop.
Young man.
But the man pulled over won't listen.
Show me your hands.
We know he's reaching for a gun. The officer can only guess.
I'll use this. I will use it. Show me your hands.
In this case, too late. It's a new perspective for the man under this mask.
Helmets off.
Wow. Damn.
Activist Quanell X.
That was real.
Police can do whatever they want to do. Absolutely unjustified.
You know him from scenes like this.
No justice, no peace.
The head of Houston's new Black Panther Party.
But you all are trying to intimidate the jury.
He's led years of protests against police use of force. But here, in a training exercise at the Missouri City Police Department, Quanell sees the view from inside the line of fire.
Stay where you are. Obviously. Wow. That's a wrap.
The bullets we're using are fake. It's like a paintball gun, but the situations are real, all based on things that have actually happened.
And make your approach just like before.
Quanell goes through 4 scenarios.
What do you want?
Deciding whether to shoot, hold fire, or use his taser.
One more step.
The experience shakes his ideas of what he might do if he were a cop.
And to be honest with you, his hands were straight in the air.
How close
and my
were
whole
you to
mind.
shooting him in your mind?
To shoot him in the leg, I was very close. Because he kept coming. Clear, I'm en route.
A video simulation holds more surprises.
Okay, want to be quiet?
A disturbed man holding a baby rushes with a knife while Quanell tries to taser him.
At what point did you actually see the knife?
To be honest with you, I never saw the knife. But I saw him come out of his pocket with something like this. If he would have pulled a lollipop out of his pocket the same way he just did, I still would have used force to stop him. And then somebody could have said, well, all he had was a lollipop. But you don't know when it's happening so fast like that.
Quanell says race never entered his mind, but he does admit this.
If I'm in a high crime area that I've worked, and I know it's a high crime area, and I know the kind of calls we get, I could easily see me pulling my gun quicker on a simple call. I hate to say it.
He'll walk away calling for people to comply with police.
Please, brothers and sisters, if they tell you to do something, do it. Sit down! When the suspect started being combative or argumentative, I want to pull my gun.
He's shocked at how many bullets he fires, something he so often questions in police shootings.
I think I'm about to empty my clip.
And standing here in a cop's shoes, Quanell wants them to have more backup.
I think police shootings would go down if you had at least 2 cops assigned to every vehicle. You're trying to see everything and guess everything at the same time.
After a lifetime of second-guessing police, Quanell now sees shades of gray in situations that once seemed purely black and white.
How do you think you are going to change the way you approach the next situation like this?
You got to gather the facts. And as an activist, we want to respond to the family's hurt and pain immediately. But we could possibly respond very incorrectly if we don't take our time to gather some facts, man, because these situations, they go from 0 to 100 in a split second.
A shifting perspective from one of Houston's loudest voices, thinking deeply about what to say next.
That was real.
In Missouri City, Alice Barr, KHOU 11 News.
These potholes are just ridiculous.
Complain about a pothole,
Thump, thump, something's jiggling and jaggling, and it tears up the car.
and the city of Houston gives itself 10 days to close that complaint. Sounds simple enough.
They're lying.
But that is where the rubber
They're lying.
really meets the road. You see, all of the potholes you're watching in this story, the city's considered closed.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, it's a lie.
Take this monster in the Montrose area.
Is that closed?
That's closed.
No.
Or this one in the Heights.
Closed means it's been fixed, and it's not fixed.
Instead of fixed is the fix-in. On paper, the city looks like it's doing an A-plus job, with a whopping 99% of pothole complaints closed and completed within the city's 10-day deadline. But the I-team found hundreds of those closed out when no repair work was done.
That's a bogus status.
City Council member C.O. Bradford.
That's a misrepresentation. That's wrong. That's deceitful. That's misleading.
So is there any explanation?
We understand it was confusing.
Frank Carmody runs the city's 311 line, where complaints come in.
Was it misleading?
We understand it was confusing.
You don't call it misleading.
I call it confusing.
And when we tried to sort that confusion out,
Shouldn't closed mean filled? Isn't it that simple?
Remember, it means something different to us.
Something quite different. Turns out closed to the city hasn't always meant filling the hole, but rather investigating to make sure it's a hole. Yep, it's a hole.
It's getting bigger and bigger.
the actual repairs come later, or on Suresh Kumar Street, much later.
It's been sitting here for almost 2 years.
2 years?
Yes, yes.
Stuck in the closed conundrum.
We have to pay for it to fix it.
With Houston drivers paying the price.
Fix the roads. We're not living in a third world country.
Do you understand the frustration? I do.
So from now on, the city says it's changing its ways. Eric Dargan is a deputy director at Public Works.
We've now identified that was the wrong way of doing it, and there's a better way, more open way of doing it.
And that means calling it like it really is.
Our service requests that are called in by the public should not be closed until the work is actually complete.
Filled. Fixed.
Fits.
Done. Case closed.
All the above.
Houston, traffic. Our daily nightmare.
Also a disabled vehicle on the exit ramp now on the West San Houston.
From stop and go in the city to the mad dash on the freeway.
We drive a lot. In our viewing area alone, we are on the road more than 142 million miles a day.
60 of those miles are Jeff Cowley's to and from work.
How would you describe your driving?
Defensive.
Originally from Arkansas, this defensive driver decided to let others experience what happens when he's on the road between Crosby and LaPorte.
The very first thing I do is I put my cameras up in the front and the back and I turn them on.
His personal dash cams record everything from speeders to tailgaters and even the occasional wreck. He calls his videos, appropriately, Houston's worst drivers.
It's our culture now. This is where we're at.
Jeff could be onto something. More and more drivers are taking a closer look at cameras.
And this one here is our newest model. It's a full HD cam.
From high def to models offering night vision. Sydney May at the Spy Emporium says he knows why the interest is growing.
One is for insurance purposes, in case they get into an accident. Second thing is for car security. Third and last one, people are purchasing it because of police, in case something goes wrong.
A $50 camera in Michael Morgan's car saved him from an insurance battle after being rear-ended while driving through the med center.
They determined fault was on the other driver and set me up to have my car repaired.
He records every trip too and occasionally sees a case of unsolicited road rage.
You're holding up traffic.
Aside from the entertainment value, Jeff believes his extra sets of eyes make him a better driver too.
Do you feel like you drive differently because you know you're recording?
Yeah, I do.
So are you a better driver?
Yeah, I'm putting myself in check.
Maybe knowing more drivers are recording will keep us in check. Bad driving and all. Tiffany Craig watching out for you. KHOU 11 News.
drive or fly into the mile-high city, and soon, there it is, the sweet smell of success.
It's kind of like an oil rush, but a green rush.
Texans flocking to Denver for more than just a thrill on the ski slopes.
Hi, partner. How are you doing?
The lure is a true Rocky Mountain high, courtesy of Colorado's high-flying legal marijuana industry.
I came to Denver to smoke, and I've smoked. I have a great time. This is amazing.
1 year since Colorado legalized recreational pot, the craving hasn't faded. We hopped on board the Cannabis to see for ourselves.
We get a lot of very interesting customers.
Danny Schaefer is COO of My 420 Tours. Every Saturday, he packs this black limo with out-of-state visitors, and Texans lead the way.
Colorado already has a booming tourist economy. We're just sprinkling cannabis on it.
On the ride, parents puff with potheads. Mechanical engineers smoke with high school dropouts.
So you could be sitting next to a businessman from Tokyo, right next to a guy from Austin, Texas.
The tours stop at grow sites where curious Texans get an up-close look at all the green.
The weed is amazing.
For Texans used to smoking discreetly, this very public getaway is well worth the $99 price tag. Just outside downtown Denver, you'll find a cozy little hotel where check-in is at 4, happy hour at 4:20.
We're pioneers.
Joel Schneider and his wife Lisa.
We have 6 rooms.
Moved here from New York to open the Adagio.
This is the Brahms.
Known in Denver as the Bud and Breakfast.
It looks like any other bed and breakfast, but this one is a little different, and Texans are taking note, flocking here, and lighting up.
We've had professionals, we've had lawyers, doctors.
On this winter weekend, 4 of their 6 rooms all booked by Texans.
It's a weedcation.
It's where we met Bill and Sue. They asked us not to use their real names. A young, successful couple who regularly smoke weed.
Very few people know that we smoke. Very few, and that's on purpose.
They're here celebrating Bill's birthday weekend with a little weed and relaxation.
It's great. There's nothing like a place that you don't feel like a criminal. You can relax, and I mean, it's nice to have that place that's safe to go to.
It's very strange to walk into a house and be like, oh, and over here is our cannabis bar, and like that would just never happen in Texas. And here it's like, well, when in Rome, why not stay at a bed and breakfast where you can actually partake and not get in trouble for it?
But these getaways do carry some risk. A company can still fire you if you fail a drug test, and it's illegal to bring the weed home with you, though many Texans try it.
It's very hush-hush.
Texans actually know their weed quite well.
Buying everything from joints to edibles, patches, even oils. It's a constantly evolving industry that's already brought in more than $295 million in sales.
Colorado's full of a bunch of pothead Republicans, and it's kind of true, and as far as I've seen, so is Texas.
1 year in, Texans from all walks of life have proven they have an appetite for the green stuff. In Denver, Marcelino Benito, KHOU 11 News.
Getting a great photograph is all about the angle. So how about this one? Houston's rooftop photographer is using the top of the city's skyline for his inspiration and his studio. It's there, so they climb it, snap it, share it. It's not quite Everest, but the view from Houston's many man-made peaks is breathtaking.
Even now, I still look at my images, and there's certain ones that still make my palms sweaty.
The man behind the camera and the mask is Houston's biggest rooftop photographer. Online, he goes by Visual Contraband, we're withholding his name and face because his art often comes with a side of trespass.
I find a way to get in without destroying any property.
To get in and to the top of some of the city's tallest buildings.
I'm trying to sit right there.
Tonight, we have permission to shoot from the rooftop of this downtown hotel as Visual Contraband and a friend try things I can barely watch. Creepy, even for him.
I'm afraid of heights.
So with a deep breath and a camera looking on, he dares himself to the edge.
I'm still afraid once I reach the edge for the first 10 seconds. After that, that feeling is completely gone.
In its place,
I guess I want to call it freedom. Take another one.
He's climbed a crane, practiced his balance, and kicked up over the edge of the city just to catch a new perspective.
The joy of it is getting to show everybody else views that they don't ever see.
You'll find people doing this all over the world now. It's just catching on here in Houston.
When people tell me, hey, I picked up a camera because of you, It's like, wow.
But this is not your average hobby.
I don't recommend it to too many people. If you're iffy about it, just don't do it.
Neither do we. There is no safety net.
You are hundreds of feet in the air.
And if security catches them sneaking in, there's a whole other kind of trouble. A worthwhile risk for a few moments alone with the skyline.
I love this city.
Where these guys and their cameras can freeze more than an image.
My life is just different.
With their biggest fear looming under them, everything looks small.
I have no worries.
Until it's time to come back down to earth. From the top of the city, Alice Barr, KHOU 11 News.
Like there was like a practice and everybody was sign spinning. I was like, man, I can do this. You know, I just fell in love. This job is for entertainers. This job is for people who want to just entertain.
Oh yeah, this way.
You have to want to put on a show if you want to be effective, you know? You have to want to, you know,
I'm just chilling.
Change people's lives and make people's day. You know, that's what I'm out here doing. It's just like, it's something. Like one time this lady came up to me, she gave me $5. And she said, hey, you know, I meant to give you this the other day because I was feeling so down. And when I saw you, it just brightened my day. And stuff like that makes me want to continue to brighten people's day.
Oh yeah.
People do this everywhere. Like they're Korea, like Mexico, Puerto Rico. Normally when I'm looking at people's faces as I see them, they are like looking at me sometimes and not the sign. But the client says, hey, we got this many calls and stuff like that, so it's working, you know, it's definitely working. Like, I say this thing before I get before I get out here, and I just say I'm the light of this corner, you know?
Oh yeah.
So, and that holds true.
Yeah.
Every picture tells a story, especially this one, the Texas A&M home game against Mississippi State. The cadet in the middle apparently older than most of the rest of the Aggie corps, and the sleeping kid who couldn't make it through the fourth quarter, even in the front row. A picture this Aggie didn't expect he'd find. His name is Sergeant Kevin Ivey, a Marine for 8 years. He served in Iraq, then served in Afghanistan, and in the middle of it all became a father, then a single dad. But he needed something more, and his commanding officer told him where to find it.
He inspired me to want to come be an Aggie because he was an Aggie himself.
Hopscotch? So Kevin and now 6-year-old Calvin Ivey left the Marines and hit the road for College Station. Only when they got here, didn't have enough money to find a place to stay.
We had money for our bare necessities and that's it. Hotel money just wasn't in the budget.
So while they waited for an apartment, they slept in their truck 2 nights in July in a student parking lot. That is, until the university police showed up.
Usually if a cop's tapping on my window and wanting me to get out of the car, it's because it's never for anything good.
But this time it was. The officers were former military too, noticed his Marine Corps license plate, and instead of taking him to jail, pooled their money to get a hotel room and then an apartment the next day.
I wasn't sure how cops were going to handle it, but they kind of just blew my mind and really hooked us up.
Try to tag me.
Why don't you try to tag me?
So now he and Calvin
Tag.
No, you didn't get me.
are part of the Aggie Corps. Kevin, just one of 25 veterans in the class of 2,500 younger cadets.
3 greens and 1 blue.
And when he's not in class,
So if you have 2 sets of 2, how many is that total?
volunteers as a mentor across town at his son's elementary school.
What do you like about this guy? About Cal? Yeah. Oh, he's my best friend. He's who I got every day.
A cadet and a kindergartner going to college together.
I don't even know what college is.
It's like a really big kindergarten.
Sure, I think I like that.
Veterans often have a difficult transition back into civilian life. Kevin Ivey says the Aggie Nation and the GI Bill gave him the safe landing he and his son needed.
I was coming here alone and unafraid and just thinking I was going to meander through school and just be another face in the crowd. And, I mean, I am just another face in the crowd. I'm nobody here. But I have my brothers, and we're carrying each other through.
Which explains why he sees that random picture of his face in the crowd as a family portrait.
I love this place.
In College Station, Kevin Reese, KHOU 11 News.